Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Sunday edition of the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. And on this Cricket Happening Show, it is going to be a full match report on the first One Day International between South Africa and India, which was played at the Kanpur, at Green Park in Kanpur. It was the first ODI, and the verdict was South Africa won. But let me tell you, we had some interesting cricket. In fact, we had an exciting tussle that happened at Green Park in Kanpur. Never in a one-day international, 300 runs being scored in Kanpur. But today that happened. Both the teams, in fact, this was the highest score in a one-day international at Green Park in Kanpur, when South Africa racked up a score of 303 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. It was led by a superlative display from A.B. Villiers, unbeaten on 104 of 73 deliveries with 5 fours and 6 sixes, which took them to a score of 303 for 5. And then India were absolutely equal to the chase, with Rohit Sharma playing a key role there, and in fact he was absolutely well entrenched at the time with 150 to his name, with 13 fours and 6 sixes. And that was the time it was Imran Tahir who took his wicket when Rohit Sharma came down the wicket to Imran Tahir, and that ended in a tame return catch to Imran Tahir, and that was, according to me, the turning point. And then after that, South Africa cottoned on, I would say, because South Africa really went after India. And India, look at the situation. The situation was looking absolutely tailor-made for India. Rohit Sharma was well entrenched at the crease. Dhoni was just coming in and just slowly settling down. 269 was the score with 3 wickets, and it was only less than 5 overs left. So 30 deliveries were left, and India needed around more than 30 runs. Basically, I would say they got 34 runs. And in the 34 runs, look at the collapse that India had. That was something which was triggered once by Imran Tahir, and then Kagiso Rabada coming into bowl the final over when India required 11 runs. He actually kept it down by picking up the wicket of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and then he picked up the wicket of Stuart Binney in 2 balls in that over, when he actually forced both of them to actually go and pull at some short deliveries, and that resulted because of the pace that Kagiso Rabada was generating, and the pitch was also a bit too paced, as Dhoni mentioned in the post-match press conference. The ball ballooned, and that was India. And after that, as I said, India were looking well entrenched to get in for victory, and then what a spectacular collapse that happened. From 269, India plummeted to 298 for 7, and finally it was South Africa the winner. Kagiso Rabada, really one has to say, is a real player for the future for South Africa as far as the pace battery is concerned. And Kagiso Rabada finished with 2 for 58. But what a crucial final over Kagiso Rabada bowled when Mahendra Singh Dhoni was actually at the crease, and one would have fancied with Dhoni at the crease that anything was possible. India could have even gone on to a win. But that didn't happen, as Kagiso Rabada really turned in a good performance, and that secured the South Africa victory. But what a match we had. We had a full crowd there at Green Park in Kanpur. It was absolutely chock-a-block, and the sun, as I said, was shining brightly, and it was pretty good to see. But India also went on to the highest score here in Kanpur, but unfortunately it was South Africa who were the deserved winners there, as they won by 5 runs to take a 1-0 lead in this 5-match ODI series. For India, definitely they had their challenges. Ravichandran Ashwin, who was bowling excellently before he had a problem with his, he injured himself, and he couldn't take any further part in the game, which was pretty sad. Look at his bowling analysis: 4.4 overs, no made, 1 for 14. He had already a beautiful off-break delivery that actually picked up the wicket of Quinton de Kock when it turned across the face of his bat, and Suresh Raina plucked it up. And I would say that Ravichandran Ashwin was a missing factor, no doubt about it. you can understand that I mean, not taking the credit away from South Africa, but because of Ravichandran Ashwin couldn't go the whole hog of bowling the 10 overs. They finished with 4.4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 14. That left a sort of a question mark there as to what Dhoni will do, and then Dhoni had to use the services of Stuart Binney and Suresh Raina, which resulted in Binney and Raina bowling 15 overs and leaking 100 runs. So for me, that was the real key, because if Ravichandran Ashwin was bowling excellently, in fact, seeing a great spell of bowling from Ravichandran Ashwin on this pitch, and it was pretty sad that Ravichandran Ashwin was injured. And now I'm told for the second one-day international, which is coming up on October 14, I'm told that Harbhajan Singh has been picked up as covered. Well, that was it. So, but not taking any credit away from South Africa, A.B. Villiers played a real superlative innings, I would say, 104. He paced his innings perfectly and beautifully, and then slowly accelerated towards the end as he really started smoking boundaries and sixes as well. Now, South Africa. Let's since I did a summary, let's start off with the report here. The South Africans were the ones who actually won the toss here on a very sunny day here at Queen's Park, at Green Park in Kanpur, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Umesh Yadav with the new ball. Bhuvneshwar Kumar was definitely doing well, but it was Umesh Yadav spraying the ball in all directions, and he was taken for runs. Hashim Amla, Quinton de Kock was the one who was looking absolutely strokeful in his innings, as he made 29. Things were going on. I mean, they had a sound start, one could say, and once that was going on, the first wicket to go, it was Ravichandran Ashwin who was introduced into the attack once by Mahendra Singh Dhoni in the power play overs itself, and that resulted in the breakthrough for India. As I said, what a delivery from Ravichandran Ashwin. I mean, he was really keeping the openers guessing, Hashim Amla and Quinton de Kock. And then finally, he had put a lot of doubts into the minds of Quinton de Kock in that particular over. And then finally, we saw Quinton de Kock play across an off-break delivery from Ravichandran Ashwin, a perfect off-break delivery, one could say. And Suresh Raina in the slips, taking a smart catch. So Quinton de Kock gone, caught Raina, bowled Ashwin for 29 of 33 deliveries with 5 fours. It left, and then Hashim Amla was joined in by du Plessis. Du Plessis slowly started reeling the tension, and that was the time when Hashim Amla, in fact, Ravichandran Ashwin was making life difficult for the South Africans, and India, I mean, they were trying to get a sort of control on the game at the time when Hashim Amla and du Plessis were the crease, and we saw that Ravichandran Ashwin, after taking that wicket, was absolutely fired up, and he was bowling superbly. He was beating Hashim Amla and du Plessis. Hashim Amla was also really fooled by Ravichandran Ashwin, and things were really going India's way at the time. But that was the time Ravichandran Ashwin, trying to field the ball of his own bowling, got himself injured, and then from then on it was South Africa, because du Plessis decided that once Ravichandran Ashwin was out of the attack, he went. Amit Mishra was introduced, but Amit Mishra was easy pickings for du Plessis as he came down the wicket and smacked him for a 6 to relieve the tension. And then finally we saw Amit Mishra also bowl superbly, and then it was Amit Mishra who got the second wicket for India, as another beautiful delivery from Amit Mishra, who was definitely mixing up the wrong uns and the googlies. And finally we had Hashim Amla, who was looking good on 37 with 3 fours of 59 deliveries, succumbed to Mishra, as Mishra got a ball to turn, hit the pad. I thought it hit the bat of Hashim Amla and rolled on to the stumps, with Hashim Amla gone for 37. A very nice delivery produced by Amit Mishra. And then it was A.B. Villiers who walked in to join du Plessis. Now A.B. Villiers and du Plessis, slowly there was a sort of not a repair job, but definitely they had to really be a bit watchful, which was done perfectly, I thought, by A.B. Villiers and du Plessis, taking that time there. And then once that was there, we saw that Umesh Yadav coming on to his second spell, tapped du Plessis LBW. That was a good partnership, a 48-run partnership with du Plessis tapped LBW by Yadav for 62 of 77 Ws with 5 fours and 1 6. That left David Miller, and then finally, once du Plessis was gone, we had 2 wickets falling pretty quickly, but AB de Villiers was there. AB de Villiers was not taking risks at the time. He was really playing some percentage cricket there. And then David Miller fell as David Miller tried to hoik Mishra down the ground. It resulted in Dhoni whipping off the bails in a flash. He was gone. Caught some Dhoni bowled Mishra 13 of 22 balls. And Dumini was a big wicket for India too, as Umesh Yadav lured Dumini to get into a drive, and he was caught behind for 15, 1-6, and then it was AB de Villiers and Bahardine at the crease. And that was the time when Dumini left. It was 238. But look at the South African score at TNC. I mean, one has to really credit AB de Villiers because he really kept his cool, not attempting anything silly, not attempting anything rash, waited. And when Farhan Bahardine came and when the final fling was there, that was the time AB de Villiers really showed his sheer power there and timing, as he really carved almost more than 77 runs were scored in that last 5 overs as he started manhandling the Indian bowlers, as he clubbed the Indian bowlers to all parts of the ground. And what a shot! I mean, Bahardine, the company Bahardine contributed unbeaten 35 of 19 balls with 5 fours and 1 6, equally aggressive. But AB de Villiers really smacked it around the ground, and what a way to bring up the 300 for South Africa, and also bring up his own century, as he finished on an unbeaten 104 of 73 deliveries with 5 fours and 6 spanked sixers, as AB de Villiers took the South African score to 303, and as I said, this was the highest score ever scored at Green Park in Kanpur, and AB de Villiers was not out on 104s of 73 balls, 5 fours, 6 sixes, and South Africa ended up with a tally of 303 for 5, and that was a swipe 6 by AB de Villiers of the bowling of Umesh Yadav to bring up his century at the 300 for South Africa. The bowling doesn't make any happy reading, barring Ravichandran Ashwin, who didn't take any further part in the game. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar 10 overs lead 67 runs with no wicket to show to his name. Umesh Yadav 10 overs went for 71 with 2 wickets. Amit Mishra bowled decently, I thought, 2 for 47 of his full quota. Stuart Binney 8 overs was pretty costly, none for 63. Raina pitched for 37 of 7. Virat Kohli filling up for Ravichandran Ashwin, bowled 2 balls without just conceding a single run. As far as the reply was concerned, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan started, and Shikhar Dhawan really showed some good stroke making, as he really started playing his strokes, but then Morkel trapped him LBW for 23 of 28 balls with 5 fours. India had reached 42 at that stage, and they were pretty much doing a fine job there, both the openers. And then Rohit Sharma was joined in by Rahane. Now, Ajinkya Rahane was included. After all the talk that was going on with Dhoni saying that Rahane is not suited to number 6, finally Rahane was sent ahead of Virat Kohli today. He was sent in as 1 drop, and I'm very happy to see Rahane back into the mix. Rahane joined Rohit Sharma, and then Rahane was pretty watchful. He decided to bide his time at the crease, but Rohit Sharma then slowly started getting aggressive. Rohit Sharma started the scoring there as he started hitting boundaries, and he was looking pretty good, and some of the strokes were pretty effortless. Ajinkya Rahane was pretty watchful after coming into the team, and then there was a very good partnership that ensued between Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane, as the pair added, it went on to 149 runs were added by this pair of Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane for the 2nd wicket, which was really good to see. And as I said, it was very good to see Ajinkya Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane also played some strokes, but he was pretty watchful, and Rohit Sharma was doing all the scoring. Well, things were going on well for India. The score had reached 191. Ajinkya Rahane had done a job. In fact, has gone to his 50, and I'm sure this is something that the selectors will be noting, because Ajinkya Rahane coming in as 1 drop, even was promoted ahead of Virat Kohli, was probably the perfect foil for Rohit Sharma there, and Rahane contributed 60 before that 2nd wicket fell when Bahardine took the wicket of Ajinkya Rahane for 60 of 82 balls with 5 fours. Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma, what they did is they went after Farhan Bahardine and JP Dumini to collect a lot of runs there, and then Rohit Sharma was there as Virat Kohli joined him. But Dale Steyn was bound in the attack, and he picked up the most important wicket of Virat Kohli when he was caught by Morkel for 11 of just 18 deliveries, and that left Mahendra Singh Dhoni coming to the crease. Now that was the time South Africa, score was 214 for 3 when Virat Kohli left the scene, and then there was this partnership when Dhoni came in and joined Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma at the time was looking pretty good. I mean, he was pretty good with his stroke making. He was stroking the ball to all parts of the ground, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni joined him. Dhoni came in and started settling down, not really attempting anything as usual, rotating the strike there, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Rohit Sharma on the other end was playing his strokes, and then finally we saw that there was a bit of pressure building on India, and at the 40th over we saw that Rohit Kohli departed, and there was still some lot of work to be done for India, and probably around 90 runs one could say. Probably 89 runs were still required in the balance 10 overs, and the things were really under control. But it was that over from Imran Tahir who was brought into the attack at that juncture, which was a very good move, I thought. Rohit Sharma was looking good. In fact, he was looking so good that he swung Dale Steyn for a 6. In the previous over, he swung Albie Morkel for a 6. Moni Morkel for a 6, and things were looking. Probably South Africa would have worried after seeing the way Rohit Sharma played, and the crowds were getting they were getting really ecstatic at the time, and India probably, one was thinking that India was going to marching towards victory. But look at what happened, and what a move from maybe de Villiers, the South African captain, to induct Imran Tahir, the right-arm leg spinner, into the mix. And Imran Tahir, with his very first ball, induced Rohit Sharma to come down the wicket, which Rohit Sharma did. But the problem was that Rohit Sharma had actually checked his stroke at the time. When he checked his stroke, that ended in a tame return catch to Imran Tahir, who took it gleefully. And Rohit Sharma, what a shame that one probably thought Rohit Sharma will be there till the end. But Rohit Sharma had to go. He was caught and bowled by Imran Tahir, but not before making 150 runs of 133 deliveries with 13 fours and 6 sixes. And that was, according to me, the turning point of this game when Rohit Sharma was gone. And then Dhoni had the company of Suresh Raina coming in, and Imran Tahir didn't stop at that. We saw Suresh Raina come in, and in the final delivery, in the 5th delivery of that over, Imran Tahir had really started putting doubts into the Indians' minds as he picked up the wicket of Suresh Raina. That was very smartly bowled by Imran Tahir, one thought. What he did is he actually bowled the ball wide of the off stump, induced Suresh Raina to go for the cross-batted swipe. The ball ballooned into the air. Domini took an easy catch. Imran Tahir was celebrating his usual style of running towards the boundary, and Suresh Raina was gone for 3. India were really doing serious damage for themselves there, as the score went to 273 for 5, and now it was Dhoni who was the sole hope for India, as Stuart Binney came in to join Dhoni. Now Dhoni decided when Stuart Binney came that he has to do something. He really played one beautiful shot. I mean, it was a great improvisation by Dhoni, and he hit it for 4. And the 273 for 5, and Dhoni was trying to, he was not trying to hit anything out of the ground or something, but he was really trying to be with Stuart Binney. And we saw a phase where Dhoni also had to be a bit watchful. Probably he felt that, the tail is coming up. So I thought Dhoni was a bit slow there. There was pressure on India, and Dhoni probably would have felt that if he would be there till the end, he could take India home. But Kagiso Rabada came in, and then finally we saw that they had the 24 runs were added between Dhoni and Binney, with Binney contributing only 2. And then finally we saw India being left with 11 runs for victory of the final over. Kagiso Rabada was given the ball, the youngster, and what a way he performed. In fact, Kagiso Rabada, now it was turn for Kagiso Rabada to pick up the wickets, and Dhoni was, Kagiso Rabada started bowling a short delivery, but Kagiso Rabada, he is having some good pace, and with his pace, he got a short delivery to Dhoni. Dhoni, trying to pull the delivery, was gone as he skied the ball in the air. Rabada taking the catch. It was a big wicket, I thought, for South Africa. Caught and bowled Rabada for 30 deliveries, 1-4. That left Bhuvneshwar Kumar coming in, but Stuart Binney was at the other end because they crossed ends. but Kagiso Rabada once again another short delivery. Stuart Binney trying to pull that delivery. Amla taking the catch. He was gone for 2, and that was all over for India. In fact, India had come so close, and I thought it was a shame that after even Rohit Sharma making 150, India couldn't go over the line. And then finally, the Indian tally read 298 for 7 of 50 overs. Bhuvneshwar Kumar not out on 1. Amit Mishra not out on naught. And India lost the match in the first one-day international to South Africa by 5 runs. South Africa take a 1-0 lead in the series. 1-0 lead in the series. ABD Villiers of South Africa was named man of the match. The bowling figures, Dale's team, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 54. Kagiso Rabada, as I said, a fine prospect now for South Africa as far as the pace attack is concerned. I'm sure that once Dale's team retires, now I was sure that South Africa have unearthed the new talent in Kagiso Rabada. 10 overs, no maiden, 2 for 58. Picked up 2 wickets of 2 consecutive deliveries, and he was on a hat-trick at the time, but Bhuvneshwar Kumar awarded the hat-trick. Behari, 6 overs, no maiden, 1 for 38. Moni Mortal, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 51. JP Dumini, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 36 was costly. Imran Tahir, another master move by ABD Villiers, 10 overs, no maiden, 2 for 57. India losing the first one-day international match to South Africa by just 5 runs to give South Africa a 1-0 lead in the series. So that's it, and October 14 is the second one-day international between India and South Africa. Well, dear fans, friends, subscribers, I had great pleasure in sharing this cricket report with you on the first one-day international between India and South Africa. I hope the same with you, dear friends, subscribers. Your host Ram will be there with you once again tomorrow. That's on a Monday with my next cricket show, my daily cricket show. Till such time, I see you folks. It's a big goodbye this on a Sunday. Thank you.